Thank you for attending our webinar today. It's a great pleasure that we heard from Jacob, which is also my colleague in the FMM Industrial 4.0 committee, whereby he's the chairman and the vice chairman. And like what Jacob has mentioned, that as the FMM role, we have embarking into those kind of helping manufacturers in the new normals and all the while in the digital transformations. My role over here today is to imagine the manufacturing operation is new normal. Let us briefly recap that actually what is CTR Resources. We have started in since 1997, 23 years old, experience, Shalam, and we are members of the FMM and also various like NWA and Magma as well. We have fortunate enough today, we have our principal Aveva over here to be panelists of this conference. Hence, we will be able to listen from what the Aveva solutions that have been given. Of course, CTR Resources also been the distributor for various activities and also products. I name only two over here, which is very highly related to what current situation on the normal. That's where the cybersecurity is an address. And also the reliability of the equipment that we're running on the floor have from the edge to enterprise connectivity. So these are the solutions that you can see from our website. We are embarking down towards the Industrial 4 and the digital transformations journey together with our customer. As a solutions provider and a distributor, we work hand in hand with our customers, with principals, to deliver the value of all those transformations that what the SME or maybe the manufacturer, the end user is looking after. So there are various of the areas that we have involved. So you can browse our website to have clearly information, or else you can contact us for those industrial requirement and also the transformation solutions that you need. Now, that's a recap from what Mr. Jacob Lee has mentioned as a manufacturer itself. In fact, I have browsed through, and this McKinsey has the survey for manufacturing in Asia. That's what the three main topics that actually been shared by, in fact, facing by everyone. It's just only a recap. The survey that actually measures material shortage, where is the supply issue. Steep drop in demand is actually because of the demand issues, and worker unavailability, where Jacob has already mentioned that he's not able to go back to the work, and also the social distancing. But here, as a solutions provider, we're also facing the similar too, because our customer is all the manufacturers, is end users, and hence when they stop productions, they stop activity, we also stop the demand in terms of our sales. And when there are certain essentials company manufacturers are allowed to work, for example, during the pandemic, our government is allowing some of the customer to operate. But however, we also required facing a shortage of labor because some of our engineers are not able to travel far. And also when we want to get some equipment to replace and make sure that our manufacturer or customers are able to continue the productions, it also having a problem because the whole lockdown from the world, and we are not able to get the spare part in order for us to do services. Same pandemic and the dynamic things that are happening not only to manufacturer. In fact, we are part of the ecosystem, and we are also facing the same kind of pandemic too. So therefore, worker unavailability right now is not necessarily looking into only the workers in the factory, but it's a whole ecosystem that what we have to address. So as a solutions provider, how can we help our customer, whereby at this pandemic, how can we help them remotely? How can we assist them remotely in the sense that they can get the data up and line? There's also another areas whereby we are looking at. So there's a lot of shift of mindset that we have to look into. So COVID-19 is driving business to revisit the digital transformation right now. The digital transformation journey before MCO, before the COVID-19, it has been addressed a very far journey, and also maybe some of the areas that wanted to address has been put on hold, or maybe the business that we're looking into the digital transformation is not then important at the moment. But because of the COVID-19 of a wake-up call, in fact become a must and have already, because it's as Jacob mentions, without the informations, we are not able to do. So we are following, there are certain strategies right now that could be actually right now we need to revisit and rework into that. Like what all the two speakers has mentioned, remote collaboration tools, the remote operation and monitoring center whereby we can see the dashboard remotely. And like what the data is hybrid cloud made by when you have an edge and a cloud technologies that come in because to enable us to work safely when the connectivity is not there. And there's data analytic, cybersecurity information. And we also, when we visit our customer, like majority of the OT network, especially on the manufacturing, has been disconnected from the IT world, is because due to the connectivity and the network infrastructure is not ready. Not only that, on the infrastructure, even though we ourselves as a solutions provider, how fast actually can we allow our people to work remotely and support remotely? Because by giving them a tools like VPN connectivity and also some Excel spreadsheets does not help. We require much more information and much more tool and enable us to work remotely. So actually, we also require to look into the digital connected enterprise. That is actually means that how can we not only looking into the manufacturing process, in fact, it's a whole value change. Where are the connecting data that allowing us to show that we can see the big pictures and we can manage it from remotely. And I put down a new talent, digital. What does that mean? This dynamic broke down. Suddenly we realize that we need people to know IT very well, how to set up the VPN connectivity, how to set up the internet connectivity, a basic one, and how to address that whether my internet line is stable or not stable, how to address that actually to collect the data so that I can put up a dashboard for us to see. So the digital, the talents that right now we build suddenly become is another new form and urgently needed is IT world. But when they put too much of the dashboard onto it, were that particular information that you know how you related, so therefore a new talent has to be discovered. So a lot of our Industrial 4.0, when we revisit, we want to see that what are the foundation technologies that enable us to look into this transformation strategy again. Basically, we fall into the few four areas. They are very advanced engineering, whereby additive manufacturing and all those things, it will be a very far that for those who are established. But the basic fundamental we are looking at is connectivity, computational power, human-machine interactions, data analytic and intelligence. Because we need to have sensors to be connected, we need to connect our workforce, we need to have some kind of asset reliability based on condition, based how to maintain the asset to make sure that the product and the equipment is continually working. And we have to rethink about what type of specification now we want to apply into our factory right now. It's because as a solution provider right now is we require to look into a reliable asset and the sensors and able for our customers to operate for under the lockdown period or maybe in the new normal. So when you open up, cybersecurity become an issue. And when we have all this data already, the interaction is how can it make it real time? That's what Jacob had mentioned, the data visualizations for all across the virtual spectrum. And we have a virtual and AR reliability. And also, somehow or other, there are certain kind of forecasting and simulation data that we wanted to run. And there's some kind of digital twin simulations that we need to have. I give you an example actually from I starting to recall what my experience. Have you experienced driving in a heavy rain? I would like to ask the audience. I believe in Malaysia, everybody has happened. So when you put into ourselves that when you are driving in a heavy rain, I recall that when 10 years ago when I was traveling from Sri Manjung back to KL, and at that evening, it was very dark. I left Sri Manjung actually at about 6:30. And I have passed through the coastal way, whereby like Teluk Intan, Setiawan, and all those before I reached the Bido Highway. And when I left at 6:30 at evening, the sky is very dark and suddenly storm happened. This is clear sky that we can see because maybe it happened, this picture shows in the afternoon. But you can imagine that what I have experienced before was it's totally darkness. I cannot even see the headlight that can shine. It can't even reach another 2 or 3 meters, very short distance. But what I'm doing during that time, I'm actually turn on my headlights. I try to keep into my lane. I have to stay focused. And actually, I wish I can have somebody in front, a car in front, and leading the way so that I can know whether the other person has any car, is really leading me towards the right direction or not. I have to stay there and then make sure that I'm driving safe. I believe everyone has been into this kind of situation before. So what else that we can do when you are entering such dynamic? So when you just imagine that under this COVID-19, when we have a total lockdown, we actually we suddenly have to rethink what we should do. We try to turn on our headlight, we try to keep our lane, and we try to listen and see what other people is doing so that we can follow. But what else that we can really do? And at that particular moment, at 10 years ago, I was lucky that because it's my behavior or maybe my experience is I always turn on my Google Map and also Waze. When I turn on my Google Map and I Waze, I can see that this Google Map is right direct me, show me the road and show me the way. And what I have to do is I cannot see my journey. I have to literally follow and listen to Google Map and say, turn right, the next 100 meters. You are reaching a junction maybe in another 20 kilometers away. I have to follow the road practically based on it because there's no car in front of me. I need some guidance. It was actually lucky that I switched on and the GPS system is working. And the GPS system allow me to access anytime and anywhere. And the GPS system is actually giving me big and reliable data, at least from end to end, from the destination, from the where that we want, I'm departing and the journey that I'm taking towards the destination. It gives me some guidance and even navigate with forecasted information. It can give me, preempt me what's going on in front. And it all has a good visualization and customer experience whereby I can rely and then put on it. I also have to thank everybody on that time is because I have good and reliable connectivity. My 3G data is working, my map are working, the GPS server is working, and everything is working and give me the information. However, when I reach on a certain area whereby suddenly I lost my data connectivity. But GPS system like Google Map and Waze enable me to work on the offline because it has a hybrid mode. The hybrid mode allow me to actually still following the road and see the directions clearly, and I follow and I do. But besides having a good system like this and reliable connectivity, what else do I need at that particular time as a person, as a human, as a people who are operating in, who are experiencing this dynamic pandemic? What I'm doing is actually I have no choice. I have to trust the system. I trust the system because trust is towards to the unknown. I totally don't know whether the road and the navigation will lead me to the right direction or not, but I have to trust it. When I trust how I build my trust and confidence, I follow the navigation step by step, and it does lead me to the right and without going to the wrong directions. So I start building my confidence and trust. So I have to learn how to read and diagnose the information that present on the screen to me. Because when there are few junctions, I have to understand that should I take this junction or not. So therefore, I have to learn how to read. And once you have that learning, when I make a decision and prediction based on the information as my own experience. So the people that start to monitor and then trust the system, there's combinations with the technology that what we can supply, it come into a picture already. So if I put myself into this current COVID-19 situations, I believe that actually there's some industrial 4.0 adoptions can be accelerated without a major technology investment. That's what we have mentioned. We need some kind of information like digital work instruction for operator assistant. We have workers working in the manufacturing lines. We have our own engineers working on the field, but we require to provide them some digital information and enable them to work on on-premise and also remotely. That means hybrid solutions will be there. How to achieve the hybrid solutions? Certain KPI parameter required to be present using the IoT solutions and the cloud. And in order to make sure that the asset is continuous performing, to enable my car is continuous, make sure I have the condition-based monitoring, like digital maintenance, to enable us to tell me whether I still have a fuel or not, enough for me to drive to the destination. Is my car condition is good enough for me to drive through that journey for another half an hour or 45 minutes before I reach the highway? So operation assistance through the argument augmented reality is also important. And there are some basic retrofit and automation for loading and conveyors that to get the data and all those things is come into the picture. So without a further kind of a heavy investment, currently now RMCO, we have customers now relooking into the digital transformation investment again. Now we have to rethink about what our investment look like. So like what Aveva has mentioned, there are a lot of solutions here. I pick up two, which I think immediately our manufacturer and customer will benefit from it. What is called cloud and AI, which is Aveva Insight in the cloud, Aveva kind of cloud-based solutions. And there is another is the discrete lean manufacturing, where it's MES solutions for Aveva too, has been implemented throughout the world. Now, this Aveva Insight is actually a cloud-based platform to enable us to allow, it's just like a Google Maps server that whereby just how I mentioned, he actually get all the information, he get aggregations of the data, he do a collaborations and get people work remotely. And he connect all the sensors that are available in the field, whether your smart sensors, IoT devices, or edge devices, you're connecting to it, or existing SCADA system that you have, such as SCADA, that you are able to connect and then push the data. A lot of that people are worried about this is because they say I open up my connectivity. Don't worry, because it is a secure, and then you're only one-way connections that they push. And this Aveva Insight, we are going to have this highlight about the capability. You have the dashboard, you have the OEE asset performance analysis, you have the condition management notification. We will address this more into a next series, actually following up called Cloud and AI on the next webinar series in our webinar series. But here I just give you a teaser of it. For those customers who are looking forward to have this Aveva Insights capability, how to make sure you can able to connect immediately your information and you have a real-time dashboard and you can work remotely, contact us. Now, advanced Aveva Discrete Lean Manufacturing Management. A lot of operations, the SME actually is manual, and you couldn't turn it immediately, just use sensors. Hence, this digital discrete lean management itself is a solution to digitize the manual operations and make it become information are collected into the system and allow us to do a lot of other solutions as well. It has 4 modules like end-on performance, work instructions, work order management. It's actually providing the end-to-end solutions for your manufacturing processes, digitize them manually, and also capture data automatically from the sensors, combine it together, make it become your on-premise information. At the same time, these informations are able to push to Aveva inside the cloud so that we can have a hybrid solutions on-premise and the cloud solution and enable our operation and continuations of the sustainability of the business under the another, if we have another MCO again. So therefore, these are the solutions that whereby we are providing, and there are much more to come, so you can actually contact us for further information. In summary, COVID-19 has put everyone on the same racetrack. In regardless whether you are new to the business, you already years in the business, or you maybe have been prepared yourself starting the digital transformation journey, or you are maybe a beginner. There's no exceptions, everybody at the same racetrack. Whether which position you are in, if you have already get a good fundamental, maybe you are at the starting of a few position of the pole. But if you are actually starting up the business, maybe you're not ready under this pandemic, you might be actually at the far left behind. But the question is, how can we learn right now? and make sure ourselves, even though, because everybody under the same circumstances and situations right now, how can we accelerate ourselves in order to make sure that we overtake and we are actually can go through and we know how to handle the car well, the race car well, and gone through every obstacle and corners that we wanted to face and we are facing. So what to actually happening is, are you in the leading positions? We believe that digital transformations using Industrial 4.0 technologies will be allow us to at least starting to move forward and faster than other people, to be ready to take the leads when there's coming to any kind of circumstances. We embrace, we look into the new normal, what's required, we towards to the leading positions. So in summary, creating the business value with digital, we reimagine our customer journey, we redesign our operational processes, and we challenging with the business model that we come together. And that's how we make it, we feel that we can start right now, and we have to start right now, and we have to embark and accelerate what we can do, revisit the digital transformation strategy that what we could have, and we make sure that we will be at the leading positions. Thank you. So that is my presentation. Thank you very much.